Today I'd like to talk a little bit about how to submit an application and what happens after you submit your application. So the first thing is I will usually talk to you, have you call me, or I'll call you, kind of get some information from you to kind of see where we are, if it's a good time to do an application, how to get it started. I usually will send you a link by email so that you can submit it online. It's quick and easy. It's not really like a paper application that you fill in. It more has to do with answering questions. Super easy on that. But sometimes if you have issues with your computer or anything like that, I can take the application over the phone and we can do that as well. So once you get the link and you click on the link, you will fill it in, and then when you hit submit, it automatically sends you an email to set up your portal. With the portal, it allows you to sign documents that we need signed, and it also allows you to upload any of the documents that we ask you for. And then when I receive the application, I then start going through it. Make sure that I don't have any questions. Like with the page 1, when we first start, that has all your basic information. We need to know where you have lived for the last 2 years. So if you have only lived somewhere for a month or a year and 8 months, or a year and even a year and 11 months, I need to know a full 2 years. So just remember that, and that's one of the questions I'll ask you, but I'll go in and update the application. You don't have to go back in and do that. I also do a soft pull credit report, so it doesn't affect your credit in any way, but it does allow me to take a look at what's going on with your credit and figure out your debt to income and all of that. And then I go through and figure out, take a look at everything in. And then the next step, which is the next page, talks about whether you're a U.S. citizen and all that. So I kind of scan over that because you've probably already answered all those questions. Then the third page goes into your employment. So when you only put 1 year on your application, I have to verify 2 full years. So that's one of the things that I would call you on, is something like that. Then we get to the next page, which has your debts, your savings accounts, that thing. A lot of times people don't put your bank account on there. Don't put any information, but I can't submit you unless I know that you have cash to close. Now, you don't have to have cash in a bank account, but it could be a gift. So that's going to be on my little list of the questions that I'm going to ask you when I make your phone call. So basically, I go through your whole application, I clean it up, I make sure everything makes sense. I then make a phone call to you. I clean up anything else, put all that in, and then your application is ready to be forwarded to my transaction coordinator. During that time, you've also gotten an email that says, please upload these documents. A lot of people wait on those documents. Well, I can't move forward with your loan if you don't upload your documents. Again, different from a credit card, different from a car loan. They're going to accept just what you put down as income. They're not going to ask you how much you make. Do you really work there? Have you worked there as long as you said you've worked there? Unless you have a credit issue. Then they might, or they might just deny you right away. In a mortgage, we don't. We step way past that. All behind the scenes, from what you don't see, I have a whole team of people. I've got a transaction coordinator, a processor, and a closer, and we're all working to verify everything, get you your loan put together in the beautiful little package to go to the underwriter to approve that file. So after we've made the phone call, after we've done that, after you hopefully have uploaded all your documentation, my transaction coordinator will then verify those. So any of the information you put on, like your jobs and all of that, hopefully they report to an online service that reports jobs. That way it's easier for us to verify. Sometimes they don't, sometimes they do. So behind the scenes, again, you don't know any of this is going on, but we're verifying everything you put on your application with paperwork or with third-party verifications. Then when that is finished and my transaction coordinator feels like everything looks good and you fit within the ratios and the loan looks like it's good to go, she will then transfer it to the processor, who then puts it together in, again, a nice little bow, orders appraisals, orders title work if you've already got a purchase, everything like that. And then we send it to the underwriter. That usually takes about 24 to 48 hours for an underwriter to review everything, make sure that it all fits all the guidelines, everything like that. So what has happened is from the day you set your application, if you upload your documents that same day, then within about 48 hours, it has now gone to the transaction coordinator. And then within about another 48 hours, it has gone to the processor, which usually, so now we're up to about 4 days. So by the 5th day, we hope it's in underwriting or it is coming out of underwriting. So when you submit an application and say, when do I get to hear? When am I approved? Will you be able to tell me today? The answer is I can give you a pre-approval today, but I can't give you a full underwritten approval. Has to go through underwriting, and we have to collect all the documents, and we have to verify everything. Once it's verified, you have a firm approval, and that's as good as a cash offer if you're making an offer on a property. So at that point, after all that's done, then we get to spend the next week, usually it's about a week, waiting for the appraisal to come back, the title work to come in, any conditions that were there, we ask those for you, so you'll get all that back. So now we're about 2 weeks in. So if everything goes smoothly, theoretically, we could close in about 7 to 14 days. Usually it takes about 30, but we can do it quicker. Then one of the other things, if you're buying a primary home, there is this little thing called a 3-day wait period that the government says we have to do. We have to give you your closing disclosure, which means we have to tell you the closing costs that we are going to charge you. Doesn't mean I have to give you the closing costs that are going to be from the seller, just the closing costs that we are going to charge you. And then 3 days after you sign that is the first day we could schedule a closing. So when you're asking me, can I get approved, can I close in 7 days? Probably not, especially if it's a primary home, because 3 of those days have to be waiting days. But we can close quickly. And again, this is why we ask you to do things in a timely manner and get those documents to us. Because if we're all running like clockwork and we're getting things done while you're sitting, hopefully not necessarily wondering what we're doing, because we usually are pretty upfront and do keep you in the loop and let you know what's going on, as well as your realtors and all of that. So while you're doing that, we're working behind the scenes. And then when you get to closing, it's like you own a house. So hope that kind of lets you know there's a little more involved to getting a mortgage than just getting a car loan or a credit card. Not crazy, but a little more. If you've got any questions, though, give me a call. Dawn Hall, Van Dyke Mortgage, 239-789-7561 is my phone number. I almost forgot my own phone number. Your lender for life, and I've got a great team. So call me.